is today with our industry, we're facing hard times. So how do we get through it? How do we make good choices? We talked about this before the podcast. You know, when a dealer's up against the wall and their line gets called, we all know of a company that's facing a very hard time, and there's a lot of dealers that are associated with this company borrowing money with that company. And what are the dealers going to be left to do?
That is scary.
Hello and welcome to the Independent Dealer Podcast. Today, Luke, this is crazy, man. We are in this like beautiful setting, a beautiful office, a beautiful studio with a beautiful man.
Yeah, Kaleb Bryan.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Hey, I mean, really, this is a awesome setup. I wish we had this.
This is how professionals do it.
This is how professionals do it. He's got more cameras than I've ever seen.
Yeah, I feel like paparazzi in here.
Yeah, it's nice.
Kaleb, thank you for having us in here on your green couches. These are famous green couches because you also host a podcast.
Yeah. We're doing it simultaneously right now.
Yeah,
I like that.
We're double potting. So whether you catch it on Kaleb's feed or whether you catch it on our feed, you're going to see it somewhere.
Yep.
So we're in a wild season in buy here, pay here. Not just our business, but we're kind of in a wild season as an industry. We've got a lot of news to cover for dealers watching. I think this is going to be a really interesting take because you've got three individuals here, kind of all from throughout the United States. You know, you've got Utah, you've got Texas, you've got South Carolina. We're all seeing different things. These guys travel way more than I do, so they get to talk to dealers all over the country and hear what's actually going on. And I mean, there's wild news with Tricolor and some other, you know, just major companies kind of coming down. It's
almost unprecedented. You know, we could go back to 08. Everybody talks about 08, and we talked about that a good bit yesterday in another podcast. It's going to be airing. And it's unprecedented that you for one, in 08, you didn't have the level of buy here, pay here in the stratosphere of finance. You didn't have that, right? And with Tricolor, that's a big freaking deal. Like when $1 billion of buy here, pay here assets all of a sudden implodes, what does it do to the mom and pop in Podunk, Alabama, trying to get aligned with their local bank? The local bank's going to run like crazy, right?
Well, I think Wall Street loses its appetite for those ABSs on the market, right? They're not going to be as so then that has the ripple effect for all the other large lenders and subprime lenders that might look at those, that might package those types of loans up. All of a sudden, you know, the subprime housing bubble burst is this toxic phrase, right? And now all of a sudden, subprime auto loan asset-backed securities become a toxic phrase.
Yep. And is it subprimes or deep subprime that caused this? And you know, there's a difference.
But I think I don't know that Wall Street's going to differentiate between the two.
That's kind of what I was getting to. Wall Street doesn't know the difference.
Yeah,
I don't think so, Kaleb. What do you think? I mean, do they look at Tricolor as subprime because they were truly a buy here, pay here operation that was tapping into Wall Street money? They were less of a subprime, like you might say a Credit Acceptance or a Westlake or a, you know, did those guys have a hard time securitizing their next? I'm not sure how they get their funding, but is that going to have ripple?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the impact's going to be for the future because there's a lot of big dogs that this was their business plan, their business model, which is scale institutional money, right, and then turn it around and get securitizations done and pay off that institutional money, and have, you know, Wall Street backing, doing ABS and doing that whole model, and the grading agencies are gonna now be very skeptical on how they grade this type of paper. So I don't know how they're going to classify it, but they're definitely going to remember what's going down with Tricolor.
Can we explain to the dealer out there that doesn't understand securitization and how that works when you're building a portfolio? Because we've seen it tried several times, and we actually interviewed Adonis, and that was kind of their business model was to do what Tricolor has done, and it ended spectacularly bad.
Yeah.
What is it?
I don't know if I'd be able to articulate it well without just screwing it up. And I mean, I've got a good concept. And Jeff, do you want to take a run at it?
I mean, the best thing I would understand is for the common dealer, it's you're going to have an intermediary bank that's going to let you build this portfolio up, right? Because you can't sell these loans onesie twosies to Wall Street.
No. Right.
So you're going to build up a $50 or $100 million portfolio over the course of 6 months to a year, whatever the case is. Then that package is going to get graded based on its performance over that time, the seasoning time frame, I assume.
Right. Yep.
And then based on that grade, you're going to take that to the pension funds and the Wall Street, whatever, VCs, or I don't know who has the appetite for these things, but they're in a lot of like teachers, unions,
that's right,
pension funds hold some of these. I imagine.
BlackRock did, Goldman probably does. Who knows? I mean, they may not have to get down there, but there's definitely private equity firms that hold these because they got to get a good return. And this was a way to get a good return. And then at the end, once it's securitized, once it's wrapped into a big bunch of notes, then it's sold to that market. And then
it's put into an SPV.
Right.
Put into an SPV. A specialty purpose vehicle is where they put that package of notes, and then that package of notes via the SPV is then serviced by
the same folks,
an agreed upon servicer.
Yeah.
So
which could be Westlake or Vinvit, or is that the people doing it now?
Well, for Tricolor, yeah, for Tricolor. But there's other companies that have been doing it. That have been securitizing, and sometimes they can service it on their own. And what they'll do is they'll get a fee for servicing, and then there's an incentive, like a waterfall incentive at the end of it, for them to see that benefit if it performs. If the loans actually perform, there'll be a waterfall incentive for them to get paid at the end of it.
Hey, just to jump in real quick and make sure you guys know about Buckeye Risk Services. Still a great sponsor of the podcast and a great partner to have at any dealership.
Yeah, sure. Retail, buy here, pay here, no matter what. Tax planning is so important, and using a reinsurance company not only helps you with your tax plan, it also helps with generating wealth. And when you get toward the end of your dealership, you need something else to pull money out of, and it's a great way to just forced savings account, right, Jeff?
Forced savings account. So if you are a dealer, buy here, pay here, retail, and you're doing 20 to 30 cars a month, call the guys at Buckeye. You will not regret getting a reinsurance company set up. You can sell your service contracts. You can sell your ancillary products. You can reinsure for your post-sale inspections. You can, of course, set up your CPI, collateral protection insurance if you're a buy here, pay here customer. Massive opportunities to build wealth and forced savings for rainy day funds.
Yep.
Good. Give the guys at Buckeye a call.
And so it blew up because those loans weren't performing and they couldn't sell the next securitization. Is that how that happens? I don't know. I'm wondering.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of speculation. How far do you want to go?
So let's hypothetically say if I were trying to wrap my brain around how that collapses, is yes, right. You have a previous portfolio that did not perform the way it was supposed to. You get graded harshly on your new package. Now all of a sudden you're not getting the dollar per note that you thought.
We were getting paid, let's say 80 to 85 cents on the dollar.
I built my model around an 80% advance rate on these things.
And then the next one comes down the pike and they go, I want to pay you 55 cents on the dollar. And they go, whoa, I can't pay my bank back at this point, right?
Right.
That's probably what happens.
I imagine the main sponsor says, hey, this didn't work out. And we've talked with some of these finance companies in the past who did this same thing. And they moved out of the buy here, pay here space and tried to swim upstream, right? Because they realized that package was not attractive to Wall Street anymore.
Because they collect terrible. Let's be honest.
In an institutional standing, I think they collect terrible because think about the beauty of the buy here, pay here model.
It's the mom and pop.
Yeah. It's mom and pop. It's hand-to-hand combat. They see us, they hear us, they talk to us. The third-party servicers, this
is the deal.
It's true.
And we're sitting not far from your collections staff.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the door.
Other side of the door, right? They know, your collection staff knows that if a customer calls up that's paid perfectly and says, my engine blew up, they know that they go, okay, no problem. I'm going to go talk to service and get you helped.
Yeah, they can walk down the hallway.
That does not happen.
No.
in the big time servicing facilities.
Yeah, and it doesn't, man, and even bankers that happen to watch this, because you know that they're out there.
Yeah.
It's not to say that securitizations are not they're not bad, right? Like
Yeah,
securitizing
right.
the model itself is obviously a very successful model when you're not doing fraud. Like let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. Things can work when the actors are good actors.
Right.
But when you put bad actors in a situation, and I'm not calling Tricolor bad actor, but
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
there's bad actors out there, and it really hurts the rest of the industry. These business models can work, and it's the same thing when you take a buy here pay here model that committed fraud on an institution or on their credit line. Is the buy here pay here dealer bad? Is the buy here pay here industry bad? Is the model bad? No. The answer is no. It's just a bad actor.
Yeah.
And why does it keep happening? It happens in all industries.
Yeah.
There's bad actors in all industries. We just so happen to see very tough times in our industry right now, and as a result, there are choices that operators have to make, and sometimes when these hard times hit, operators are making choices that benefit themselves and not their institutions, not the people that they owe money to, and there's misalignment. When you have misalignment between a borrower and a lender, things are not going to go well. And that could cause, storylines to say, oh, this industry is a bad industry, this model is a bad model. That's not the truth. The truth is today with our industry, we're facing hard times. So how do we get through it? How do we make good choices? We talked about this before the podcast. When a dealer's up against the wall and their line gets called, we all know of a company that's facing a very hard time, and there's a lot of dealers that are associated with this company and borrowing money with that company. And what are the dealers going to be left to do?
That is scary because like we talk about the mom and pop, there's a lot of mom and pop buy here, pay here stores out there that depend on this cash to make a living. And they provide a lot of jobs, and they provide a lot of unbankable people cars. So when this waterfall that may happen, it doesn't just affect the dealer; it affects communities.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And that's from a practical standpoint. Let's discuss that and what these dealers should do if they find themselves in this situation, or if they are, because I've been in that situation in 08, right? In 08, I had a loan backed by real estate that was supplying my buy here, pay here capital, and the bank went under. The bank itself, not because I dragged it down.
So what you're saying is you refinanced your real estate property, and you used the proceeds.
We took a line of credit against some land that we had, and that was what was funding my buy here, pay here operation. And
That's
of course,
awesome.
we're totally current. Everything was great until the bank went under.
The bank went out of business.
And guess what happens when the bank goes under? Somebody gets that asset, right? There's going to be a servicer. There's going to be in fact, what happened was another regional bank came in and bought out this hometown bank, and through that process, they decide what they want to keep and what they don't want to keep.
And who they want to do business with.
Let's do a roundtable right now. We got to hear opinions from all three of us. What happens when your banker goes under? As a dealer, what happens?
Well, I'll tell you what I did. The banker went under, and you are in the shuffle. You don't have, and I'm talking from a high-level standpoint, not what I physically did, but from a high-level standpoint, I didn't have an option because my loan is wrapped up in this bankruptcy of a bank, which gets kicked off to a regional bank that bought it, looked at it, and said, wait a minute, you're telling me your line of credit is backed by this real estate? Well, we think it's impaired now because of land values had dropped. Right?
Yeah.
We don't really want to keep this. We're going to kick it out to the servicer. So the new bank didn't have to assume my loan. They decided that it was impaired because the land values had dropped. So I got kicked out to a servicer. And now the servicer is like, okay, my job is to turn this into cash.
Right.
So I need to get this land back and turn it into cash. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I've been current forever.
Right.
Well, the loan's impaired. Well, it's only impaired because you just fire sold the property next to it for pennies on the dollar, and now my comparables have dropped. Give me 2-3 years,
That's right.
and it'll be right back to where it was before. But there's no long-term vision.
What did you do?
So we went through a sale, and we basically bought the land back at our note at a slight discount. So kind of worked out for us.
Holy cow.
Because they said, well, you own X amount and the land's worth this. Of course, they hit you for the forgiveness, right? So that forgiveness got passed on.
Tax-wise.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they say, well, you got a little bit of a discount on the loan based off the face value
When
and
you
what
say
the
you
land
bought it
was
back,
worth.
you went to another bank and you said, hey, I'd like to refinance.
We were lucky
basically.
enough to find another community bank that was willing to buy this out, right?
Okay.
Just based on, luckily, the situation of the relationships we had. And that's where I would say the lesson is learned here. So many dealers are so stoked to get a lender, and it was a lot of work to get that lender. I understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was hard. But you got to have some other relationships because
100%.
it may come to the point where your lender goes under or just decides they don't have the stomach for you anymore. Where are you going to go?
Jeff,
Yeah.
what was the time frame? Like, how long was this process of when the bank filed bankruptcy and you were with the servicer?
I
Like,
want to
how long
say
did that take?
we were in the dark for probably 6 months, like fully in the dark.
And in the dark, does that mean, are you still making payments? Because who do you make them to?
We didn't have. That's what I'm saying. We were in the dark. But after
Wow.
that,
Holy
once the
cow.
servicer took over, then we started making payments to the
So
servicing
you were
company.
behind on payments?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
technically, but not really.
But the loan was called. The loan was called due, right? Because he didn't want it anymore. So by the
Wow.
time it got through the servicing company, Midland Servicing, they finally
Shout out Midland.
Yeah, thanks, guys. They finally got around to basically giving us attention, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's when we said, okay, what's the accrued interest? What's the actual dollar amount owed? We'd been setting money aside, and luckily we worked it out without being completely hung
I'm
up.
glad you set the money aside, because let's just say somebody filed bankruptcy and you owe them money, and it goes 2 or 3 months where you didn't have to pay any interest.
Right.
You need to be, they didn't forget about it.
Yeah. you need to put that in reserves.
You need to put that away, because
Yeah.
that's going to be trouble.
Yeah.
The only time we ever had this happen, and honestly, we always use property to fund either property or reinsurance money to fund buy here, pay here. And back around after that time, First Community Bank, First Citizens Bank, which is the bank actually that ended up buying Silicon Valley Bank last year when it went down. They're based in Columbia. And we had a line of credit on a house, on my dad's beach house. And I remember for a fact it was $273,000 was the line of credit we had. Now, this was a while back. So $273,000 was a lot of money back then. Not now.
Back in the 70s?
This was probably around that 08 time period, and you could do a lot of cars with that kind of money, right? And so we had $100,000 out, and the banker calls us one day and goes, hey, how much of that line do you have pulled? And because he called from the cell phone.
Yeah.
And we said, we got 100,000 out. He goes, I want you to go down to the bank and pull the entire line down today. And my dad said, we don't need the entire line. He said, are you going to need it? He said, yeah. My dad said, yeah, we're going to need it. He said, go to the bank today and just pull it down.
Holy cow.
And deposit it into another bank. And so we did. And then 3 days later, they called the whole loan.
Holy cow.
They said,
that's wild.
You need to pay this $273,000 back. My dad said, we can't pay it back. And well, I mean, you got to do something. He said, well, just put it on. I remember this. Just put it on a 3-year note and we'll pay it off. And I remember that the payment.
Term loan it, yeah.
The payment was $10,326 a month. I mean, I just still remember it to this day. That $273,000 was life changing for our buy here, pay here store, because that injection of cash let me be able to run and get over. We talk about those humps, right? And I think we were at maybe the 400 account hump at that time, and it allowed us to get ahead of it. And then we started cash flowing. But it was because we had that influx of money.
Of cash.
Hey everyone, just a moment here to talk about BlitzPay. BlitzPay is my payment process provider, PPP, whatever it is. But they're wonderful. They get the money in the bank, and that's really what matters. And it's simple to use, Jeff. It's so simple, and it helps us with our collection process.
Yeah, you know what I've really liked, and I'm going to fine tune this even more, is their cash pay network, which is a crucial component, because we do have a lot of customers that want to pay cash, but I don't want to take cash in the office. It's dangerous. It's scary. I got to make deposits. So we're pushing it more and more and more. And there's always the few customers that don't quite understand technology and push back, but we're educating them more frequently. And it's really making my anxiety go down because I don't have large cash deposits at the end of a Friday.
Yeah, I'd hate for you to lose any more here.
Yeah, it's stressful. But the self-help options are really what makes the difference. You don't have to have customers calling you, hey, run this card, run this card, run this card. No, they can help themselves because the portal is so easy. It's mobile friendly. It's all right there on their little phone, which everyone has, and they can take care of their payments themselves. That's the most important part.
Yeah, everybody needs to call BlitzPay, get them to hook you up.
And sometimes you can kind of strong arm banks into doing something they don't want to do, but makes sense for everybody.
Well, in a situation where they let's talk about the dealers, like going through a situation, if their bank goes out of business, or if their lender goes out of business, in this case it's a lender, what can they do if they don't have access to cash already?
Yeah.
Right. So what do they need to do to prepare, or what should they do?
First of all, I think they need to cut every expense they can, and start building cash, and either paying down the debt while building cash.
Where do you start? What expense?
I think that if I had any personal expenses that I could sell, let's say I have extra cars, extra boats, I'd probably sell those.
Extra boats?
Extra boats.
How many extra boats you got later out?
Any boats.
If you have boats,
Boats in general.
you're already
Singular
in trouble. I'm
boat.
sorry.
Right. Just sell them. Just sell them and use the cash in your business. Unfortunately, you may have to, let's say you're kind of small and you have one salesman and one collector and this, that, and other. Decide what's important, right?
Right.
Is it important am I a size operation where I can do everything myself for a little bit?
Right.
And if you are, do it yourself and use that cash just to plow into to getting it paid down. Because I think, Kaleb, you've paid down a lot of debt, right? And I think
for sure.
the sooner you can get from, let's just say this dealer is 60% leverage.
Yeah.
Let's say they can get to 30% leverage. Well, then you got something.
You do. Yeah.
Because you could sell your assets and walk away.
That's right.
At 60% leverage,
Yeah, you hardly have anything.
you're going to sell your assets and probably not walk away with anything.
Yeah.
And not enough to weather the storm. I think one thing we learned from our episode with Adonis a couple of months ago was that you have to take drastic measures.
Quickly.
And yes,
Yeah.
drastic, quick measures that I don't think dealers appreciate. When you're scaling up, it's very easy to say, I'm going to buy a new recon facility and I'm going to get that going in the next 30 days. And I need to add 4 salesmen because I just got this line of credit and I got all this money to spend and deals to put on the books. But when it reverses the other way, it's very hard to say, I need to shut that location on Friday. I need to get out of that lease by Friday.
Yeah.
Sorry, tomorrow morning we're laying off 5 people. Because I see what's going to happen and I'm going to get out in front of it. I'm not going to pay these high salaries for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months because that's 100, 200, 300 grand that I could have that I wouldn't. And it's okay. I'm going to go from selling 100 cars to 20 until the dust settles.
That's a good point, man.
Yeah, it is. Some dealers, they're really committed and sometimes overcommitted to their staff. And
That's right. Well, let me add on that because I was going to make a very similar point. Is that I'm a dealer that started really small. We started from nothing, like probably a ton of people, and I had a $2 million portfolio, $4 million, $10 million, $20 million portfolio. So I went up, scaled up, deleveraged, came back down. Now we're stabilized around 13, 14, and I'll tell you that when you get up to a bigger size, you're used to having these cushions. You asked me earlier, what time do I come to work? And you're used to having, people on salary that are taking care of just the baseline stuff. And it gets very uncomfortable when you have to remove those guys. And there is a point. So I even look at my portfolio, 13, 14 million. I'm like, all right, how much cash flow do I have coming in? Are we turning profitability? Are we positive cash flow? Things like that. It's like, all right, I may need to look at this higher salary and knock it out. It's very uncomfortable, but being at the size that we are, it's very important to, like you said, make these hard decisions and pivot quick because that's what's going to make or break and keep these survivors here. The buy here, pay here survivors that are still in the industry today, they're the guys that are making some major pivots, and they have to.
it's hard.
It's harder at that level because you're again impacting long long tenured employees. And when you're a dealer that's 5 million or less, it's actually a lot easier because you're looking around and you're like, well, you know, I need a collector, I need a sales guy. You know, there's just certain things you absolutely need. And you can make such large impacts to your business because the smaller you are, the larger of an impact you can make on your business. When you're bigger, you're like, holy cow, like it's a tough, slow process.
I mean, I make collection calls myself up until, I mean, less than 10 years ago. You know, and I just knew that I had every over 30 account. That's what I worked. And it's a lot of our portfolio has a lot of my dad and my sweat equity in it, you know, and that's just what we
Customers
did.
calling in. I talked to Luke.
He said I could do it.
He said
man.
that I had to stop because my manager, my employees, they started getting pissed off. You know, when we grew this like you did, I was a one-man show on a cell phone up to 400 accounts on my cell phone.
Oh, wow.
Collecting.
Wow.
On one cell phone, just me. And everybody was like, I talked to Kaleb, I talked to Kaleb. And I had to go through a year of just like letting off. And man, I felt like I was going to, I didn't know if that was right or not, which is just give it to my team.
You know, you recognized early that deleveraging was so important.
Yeah.
And so many dealers don't. And don't get me wrong, there's times where you need to grow with leverage and then back off and pull back and then settle in, pay it down, and grow again. But I mean, you probably had to make some real hard decisions in 2023.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of dealers out there that did not understand that was the time to make hard decisions, not 2025.
Right.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is you dumb luck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
and some of these guys are just bad timing. If you had just leveraged up the last 2 to 3 years because you saw COVID and you saw the availability of cash, and then all of a sudden the economy turns a different direction and you start taking heavier losses right now, you got unlucky, you know? And you look at some of these other people that geared up during the teens, they were lucky to ride a good economy for quite a few years, right?
And low rates, yeah.
So sometimes you get lucky and you hit the timing. Because I look at some of these operators that might be going under or that have gone under. It's not really their fault sometimes. Like, I get it, you were leveraged up, but guess what? Had the economy taken a shit while you were at max leverage?
Oh, man, I know.
You could be a bad story too. Had your lender pulled your line when you were at max leverage because they got crushed?
That's right.
You'd be SOL. So, man, you get to that max leverage, you're trying to grow, you just hold your breath that nothing crazy happens.
Yeah. And how long can you stay there and hold your breath, right? It's like, how long can you stay underwater?
Yeah.
And the ones that can stay underwater longest are the ones that win. You know, it's do it properly, I guess, would be the right way. Like, who has that luck for the longest period of time are the ones that just shake out and end up being the best.
Yeah. I mean, let's drop some facts right now. Dealers that are sitting at 55%, 60% leverage right now, I'll tell you that getting institutional money, getting that money at cost of capital at 7.5%, 8.5%, it is going to be tough. I mean, even the guys
it's probably
that are
impossible.
I don't want to say impossible because I know
we know some guys that are doing it.
I don't want to say it, but you're right. It is relatable to impossible.
I think it might be impossible within the next month.
It's going to be hard. And so what do they do? You know, what do they do? Guys that are leveraged, they don't have anywhere to turn. They're going to be forced to stabilize. I tell you, if you're growing, you need to stabilize.
Oh, yeah.
You need to stabilize. You need to stop growing because you're going to run yourself out of business. You're literally not going to be able to have enough cash to make payroll because you're buying. You'd have to continue buying cars, and if you're not going to continue buying cars, then your ship is going to go like that, pow, and it's going to have to sit. It's going to be forced to stabilize. Dealers that run out of this line of credit and they're living off this extra line of credit, they're going to be forced to stabilize.
So, is this a good time for the dealer who's not leveraged to start growing?
If they have the capital, if they have the capital and the cash flow, sure, why not?
Yeah,
why not?
I mean, you'd say market conditions. What caused the collapse of these guys to begin with? Heavy repos, expensive cars.
Yeah.
So I would say not now, because I haven't seen prices reset to a point. I haven't seen credit of our customers get any better. I'm not looking to double down on my current, lending, even though I might have the cash. But I'll tell you what, in the next 6 months,
That might
if
change.
these lenders go under, repos spike, we see good people with bad credit, we see, a lot of more inventory hit the ground and prices become more affordable for our customers, and we kind of reset the wholesale markets, then yeah, I could see that being attractive. But I think you got to wait for the dust to settle.
Yeah, but the model works. The model works if you've got a honey hole and you're buying cars cheap, and you're able to, look at how we source cars, for instance.
Yeah,
We're sourcing cars in op, and we're putting motors in them and keeping our ACVs so low,
Right.
and that's able to keep our mileage low. So in that model, it's profitable and it works. And
And
so
you feel like you're getting qualified customers.
yeah,
even
that's the
with that.
problem. Then it comes to qualified customers.
Because I'm just getting gypsies. I don't have, like 2010, we had good people with bad credit. I'm not getting that right now.
Yeah. I mean, the performance on these notes are not as good as.
The credit is going to be worse in the next year, because we still have some of those 2022, 2023 really high ACV cars that are out there that are just worn completely out at this point. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
And people still owe $12,000.
They're upside down. They're upside down, and then they're giving up the car. That's a repo on their credit. So from a credit history standpoint, we're seeing a lot worse credit.
Yeah.
But now we look at our income, job availability.
Jobs are still good.
Yeah, jobs are still good. Are they making more money? Do they have the ability to make more money in our communities? Look at that. DFW is a growing community.
Right.
This is a place where
St. George as well. Yeah, Columbia, South Carolina. Yeah.
is St. George growing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's gangbusters out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In a different demographic, and that's very niche to me, but it's not growing in the subprime buy here pay here category.
But it should, if there's construction, there should be some of that, right?
It attracts.
Yeah.
Those folks, and to your point, we do have the people who got the $1,200 payment on a Hellcat in 2022 from the new car store that are now realizing they're completely upside down and flipped beyond, and they can't make the $1,200 payment anymore. So they're going to let that go back to the bank. And we've talked about that for years, right? That's kind of been trickling into the market. And that pushes that customer who can easily afford a $600 payment back to us, and they're humbled a little bit, and they're going to be in a Kia Optima, for maybe the next couple of years, all at 2010. That's what we saw, was a lot of humbling and a lot of saying, okay, I gave up my boat, I gave up my jet skis, I gave up my RV, and I'm kind of consolidating and coming back to reality.
So we're talking about how hard it is, man. Jesus, it's like so negative. Poor buy here, pay here. What's the future of buy here, pay here? What do we have to look forward to? Because with every hard win, there's going to be a soft landing, right? Somewhere. What's that soft landing look like? What do you think we're headed into in the next 3 to 5 years? What kind of upside do you think we'll see for those that survive, for those that hold their breath long enough?
I always rooted for consolidation of stores.
Yeah, and it's happening.
And that's happening.
I'm seeing it.
And so I think those who can last, let's call it 6 months or a year, I think they will see consolidation of stores. And there's a lot of people closing their buy here, pay here store. I'm one of them, right? We're winding up our portfolio. And there's an age bracket of people ready to exit our business.
The boomers.
The boomers, my dad being number one of that, right? And luckily it's drugged me kind of out of the market too. And so I think there's definitely
Well, you're an influencer now. You're not out of
that's right. I'm definitely an influencer, and I'm retired. No, but I think that is always good to look forward to when the market and cars have to go down in price. I know that we've been saying that. But they have come down since their highs. But I think there's going to be another adjustment because there got to be a lot of repos coming. There's got to be. And they sold, new car sales this year are like at that 17 million mark. And that's a key. When you start to see them get to 14, 15 million, which they've been at, I don't think they were there in 23, but I think they were getting close. 24, they definitely sold 15, 16 million cars. And this year they're going to probably sell another, 17 million. You go to any airport, there are rental cars everywhere.
Yeah.
There's no shortage of rental cars. And so they're going to be flushing through. Lease turn-ins aren't exactly the same. There's going to be a ton of Tesla EV.
According to Experian.
Coming in. So
It's going to be big.
that's what I see. Jeff?
I still don't see the rental cars companies selling their cars at low mileage like they used to. They seem to be running them up a lot higher.
70, 80, which is perfect buy your pay your stuff.
Yeah. But it's not like they have a glut. But to your point, in the next 12 to 24 months, yes. Now, what really matters is when these lenders get out and the ripple effect of the other lenders, the subs, and these captives start tightening their credit requirements.
Yeah.
And that's what Buy Here, Pay Here needs.
Yeah.
We need these Wall Street money guys to get out of our mom and pop business and start pushing those 600s back down to us.
In a long time.
We haven't seen that. We keep predicting it.
But it takes a real kick in the pants, and maybe other assets that are more attractive to them and more stable, and they start saying, hey, you know what, no, I'm not going to fund the next, subprime bank that wants to lend money to inner city, white guys like me that don't have any credit, right? like we just have to get those people out of it. And that's going to bring those credit scores back down to us.
Right.
And that's what I'm waiting for. That's that magic mark when I start seeing customers come in that say, oh, yeah, the new car store couldn't get me done. I'm going to go, ding, 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 time to double down.
Hey guys, real quick, just to break in and make sure you know about TaxMax's 4th quarter program. It's rolling right now, Luke.
Yeah, it's going. Jeff, you do really well at this, and I think every dealer out there, if you do it the right way, could really take advantage of 4th quarter.
Absolutely, and TaxMax has hooked us up with a great promo. So if you use the code VIP, you're going to get 35% off the VIP package. So I think that's exclusive to podcast listeners. I'm not sure, but you want to get signed up now because you want to start using this 4th quarter program. If you're a Buy Here, Pay Here dealer, this is a great opportunity to get a second down payment. You get the down payment now when you roll the car, and you get another down payment when their taxes hit.
Yeah. Make sure you're still doing the right deals, but do it actually getting more down payment later. So it's a no-brainer if done right, and your customers will love you for it because it'll shorten their term and they pay less money, right?
Absolutely. Call the guys and girls over at TaxMax. Use the code VIP to get 35% off the VIP package. Get rolling right now.
And when that happens, the new car dealers will not be keeping the trade-ins they're keeping now. So that will flood more inventory too. So it's kind of it's a snowball, I think, when that starts happening.
Yeah, I could see them giving up the cheaper category that they're keeping now, especially now that the availability of the new stuff. The only caveat to all this is there's just no cheap new stuff.
No, not at all. Good gracious.
Like the prices of the new cars have gotten so insane that they have to keep some of these just to have a mid-level for the common person that just wants an average car at an average price. They become used car operations.
And Buy Here, Pay Here starts at acquisition. So once costs come down and also combined with a customer that is a good customer like you're talking about, those customers, when they start hitting our Buy Here, Pay Here stores, even the small mom and pops are going to start creating more profitability. I think the hard part is a lot of these lenders who have major deal fatigue, institutional capital banks, they have such deal fatigue from seeing all these dealers go bust and other deals go bust that they need. I mean, I was speaking to a banker the other day. I asked him, I said, hey, when do you see yourself or when do you see your bank moving back into Buy Here, Pay Here? You know what his answer was? He said,
never.
He said, it's a lot like oil. He said, once I see, a few success stories and I start feeling more comfortable and we see success stories happening, we'll jump back in when the water's warm. That was his answer. And it was real. It was true. It was true. And so, the mom and pop stores, if they can turn profitability, once our industry starts to stabilize and we stop seeing these freaking headlines, and we start showing profitability and we start hearing our peers are more profitable, that's when capital is going to jump back in. And there's going to be an opportunity for institutional capital at that time, but there'll be more opportunity today for private capital. The problem is there's not a lot of private capital that wants to jump in right now. It's a hard space to lend to.
Well, so private capital is kind of what I'm leading to and what I'm going to do. And somebody said, man, the car industry, you should lend to them.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I know the car industry.
I was like, I don't think so. I mean, seriously, like
it's much easier on a piece of real estate to go get it versus a note in a car and all the chaos that happens.
That's right. I mean, like, yeah, I know the auto industry, and I could go into a dealer and probably lend him money and be successful to a point. But if something doesn't go right and I have to go in and run that thing, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah. That's a
And
good point.
and so, yeah, no, I'm not going to be doing that.
I think as buy here, pay here dealers, we talk about we're gamblers, right? And I think we need to keep that gambling mentality of you got to know when to hold them, you got to know when to fold them, and you got to know when to go all in. Because this isn't a straight line business.
No.
This isn't just I'm going to grow at 100 cars every month for the next 20 years. No, this is a season to pull back. And I know that right now I got to be conservative.
Yeah.
It's not the time to double down. It's not the time to go all in right now, but there will be a time.
Yeah, and guys like us that we can cash flow, we can stabilize, we can create profits. But for the guys that are leveraged, what would you say that this would be a good? I'm really curious as to what your answer is going to be, and what y'all are seeing. Guys that are like, hey, I'm ready to fold them. What does that look like? What are their options right now? What are portfolios trading for? And I know there's a big difference. If you keep your doors open, it's very different. Even bulk buyers are giving you more dollars if you keep your doors open. But what kind of I guess advances on their portfolio are you seeing it trade for on the fold'em situation?
Yeah. So I bought a portfolio 2 years ago in a fold'em type situation at 55 cents on the dollar. No recourse.
No recourse.
No
55.
recourse. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'd said, you know what? I'm gonna pay you 55 cents.
I think that's fair for both of y'all.
I think it is too.
I think it's fair for a dealer and a buyer.
And I've made really good money. I'll take any. I'll pretty much take any of them in my area in South Carolina at that valuation with no recourse.
He just said he wouldn't loan and get back into
Yeah.
now he's buying for you.
But I'll buy the portfolio because I'm the one that's going to collect the portfolio.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it, right? And they need to be seasoned accounts. But, yeah, who knows? Anyway, that's that.
Already cherry picking something he doesn't have.
I think if you go to market,
Don't
I
call
think
me.
if you get in the 60s,
Yeah.
that's probably where you need to expect it.
Yeah. So you think if a dealer said, "Hey, I'm ready to fold them," and they start shopping it, you think that they could pull 60?
They probably could.
As a closing of their doors, walk away, let them collect it out, let another company collect it out.
I think so. I think it's going to be in the 60s. I think it's going to be in the low 60s, depending on your ACV, depending on your collateral, depending on the season of them. But yes, I think you can expect in the 60s, and it might be 58 and it might be 64, depending on different things. I think if you decided right now, you know what, I am going to collect out. We are doing this right now, and I do believe my CRR will be at around 100%. We are and I can't.
Which includes what? When you say CRR at 100%, clarify.
Okay, so our principal collected, and I'm gonna change the CRR idea just a bit. What I actually get for the repo, okay? I send it to wholesale, I'm gonna get this, but if I keep it and then I retail it, I'm gonna add some value in my CRR. Okay?
And when you say retail, cash sale.
Cash sale.
As is, no bank financing, right? Just straight up.
It could be some of my inventory may get
Okay.
bank financing, right? So we've seen that we can capture usually $3,000 to $5,000 over wholesale, over what we would net wholesale. So
Wow. At auction or just on street?
sell them for retail.
Okay.
So I think we can capture extra money. And so in the end, we've always been around a 90% CRR. I do think we're going to get around 100% of our principal. I think we're going to be over that.
I think mentally that's the only way to do it. I just don't.
Really?
If you're in a situation and you can wind down your own portfolio, that's the best way. I mean, a note
Really?
sale,
Wow.
I think. A note sale, you're taking 50 cents, 60 cents on
Yeah.
the dollar, and they're
All your
kicking out
profits gone.
10 or 20% of the accounts that you still have to collect on anyways.
Yeah.
Because if you have anything that's outdated or that's, you've made payment arrangements, they're going to kick out a bunch of stuff.
So let's do some math real quick. As investors, 30% on 10 million. Let's say we have a $10 million portfolio and we're looking at to sell it for $6 million at a 60% advance, or we say let's wind it down and collect it out over a 2-year period, right? And we'll
Longer
collect
than that. But yeah.
Probably 3 years.
Okay, let's say 3 years, and we'll collect 100% of it,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So $10 million. Is $6 million
Now.
cash on cash now
worth
more
Okay.
than the $10 million over 3 years?
So yeah,
But also interest.
also interest, which you're going to collect.
you
So
Payroll,
You don't
overhead,
count that in your
Right.
CRR.
time.
yes, I do not count that in my CRA. I mean, we're still collecting a lot of money in interest.
And CPI.
And CPI.
Would you still wind it down considering
Absolutely.
that?
I think
over
it's
3
the
years?
only way to get out of
So
buy here, pay
the
here.
$6 million today time value of money. Okay, and let's just say you could earn 15% on that money doing something, which
Sure,
is high.
sure.
Let's call it 10%, which is 600,000.
Yeah, 600,000. Yeah.
600,000
Over 3 years is 1.8 million.
1.8 million, right?
7.8.
So you're at 7.8. I still think you're better if you can get 10 million.
Plus interest, plus CPI.
Yeah.
And you're running an operation, and that sucks. I get it. Sometimes guys just
Yeah.
can't do that.
Depends. Yeah, it depends if.
But with my footprint, I could go down to one store. I could consolidate similar to what Luke is. I look like I'm open. I have cars on the front line. Now,
We
I
have
don't
30
care
we have
if I
30 cars
sell
in
any of them or
inventory, yeah.
not.
Right.
I just have to look open, and I have to be able to help my customers in a total loss claim. I have to help dispose of a repo
Yep.
better. I have to be able to handle maybe a blown engine that I need to keep this thing on the books and keep them paying all the way through. When the lights turn off, everyone scatters, man. They all scatter.
You're right.
And
You're
if
right.
if my portfolio doesn't think they can give Jeff a call or Adrian a call and get a payment figured out, they're
Yeah.
walking away. They're dumping the car. They're walking away.
This is good insight for
So-
dealers. I know that there's dealers out there.
I think so. Yeah.
This is great
So
insight.
do what you can and negotiate with your lender to say, hey, I've put cash away. I can handle my overhead for the next 3 years. Let me collect these notes out.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know how much leeway you have. I get it. When lenders go into bankruptcy, I was there. It goes to some Yahoo in DC or New York, and they could care less about your
Yeah.
situation. But let me collect this portfolio out. It's going to save you money. It's going to save me money.
And let's talk about the people who are 65 or 75 years old that need a good exit strategy. There's not a good exit strategy in our business, and especially
I know.
for operations that are, let's call it, less than 1,000 accounts, or it's just not a good exit. You're not big enough.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You're just not big enough to do
Yeah.
anything. That's
Right.
I was trying to help someone sell their business, and I thought I brought them a good exit strategy, because I found out real fast that there was not a good sales market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, how about private equity? I'm like, man,
Yeah.
your $6 million portfolio.
They're not taking your phone call.
They
Yeah.
won't. They will laugh at either one of us. Private equity doesn't. They want to invest $50 million or $150 million,
Right.
Not $6 million. It doesn't move the needle for them for this headache. So let's wind it down. Let's collect it out.
Yeah. What do you think average wind down looks like? Is it in terms of length of time? 2
Yeah.
years, 3 years?
So
And at what point do you call it like you're down to freaking
When
15
you just
accounts,
sell.
25
That's right.
accounts? Like when the hell do you say, all right,
here,
this
come
is-
come pick up your titles.
at some point, look, everybody, yeah, yeah. Hey, everybody, here's my cell phone. You're gonna now be paying me on Venmo. I'm shutting
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
business.
I think I projected, and you can do this, and it's easy for any dealer to do. Go look and see what your run rate on your accounts are every month. So mine was 24. We lost 24 accounts a month.
And you're a high ACV and you had longer terms.
We had so I was getting that 47-month terms. Okay,
Holy cow!
and our run rate is 24 accounts a month, and that's repos, charge-off repos, trades, total losses. Okay, by the time we ended, we had to sell at least 24 buy here, pay here accounts to grow a single one, right? And so I took that and I started doing the math, and I think ours at 47-month term, average term, we were at 39-month run out. Okay,
Which is really long because you had low repos.
which is really long, and we're 1 month behind that. So.
And I think you could accelerate that if you were more proactive. If you were really trying to cash out as quick as possible. Luke's in a pseudo, I'm cool if this stays open, I'm cool if it closes type mentality. But if I was trying to get cash back to my lender or cash back, you could be very proactive with refis, right? You could be very proactive with not rewriting loans.
Yeah.
And helping your customers say, hey, let me graduate you to a new car with a credit union, with a subprime. I'm going to throw all this paper against credit acceptance and see
That's
what
a
they'll
good-
give me. So
That's a good idea. I've not thought
yeah,
about
I
that.
could be proactive with winding
That's
this
cool.
down and
That's
cashing
cool.
out of my portfolio faster in a win-win situation for me and
You
my
could say,
customers.
I'll discount it $1,500 for you to go try to get a loan at the local credit union.
Absolutely.
I didn't even thought about that.
Yeah.
Wow,
and a
yeah,
place
once-
like CAC may buy that seasoned loan
Ooh, hadn't
at
thought
a
about that
better
either.
deal. and you're willing to pitch in a little bit money to make it look better.
Yeah, but
so
now
it's
they got to
possible.
pay up. You're talking about getting 100% CRR. They got to pay up. They got to pay 85, 90 cents on the dollar.
Yes, you're not getting 100. You're getting 85 or 90, but you're winding it down a little bit faster, so you're getting better than the 60 you would have got. And it comes back to my know when to fold them, know when to hold them. This is not the time to sell a note. Remember 5 years ago, and we're like, you got what valuation on that portfolio you sold?
Dude, that was insane.
It wasn't that long ago.
2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
We had people exit then with some crazy. There were people. Oh, we buy notes at 85%, no recourse. Or,
Sell.
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like that would have been the time to get out.
Yeah.
Right.
And we'll get to that point again. We'll get to that point. It might be 2040, but we'll get to that point.
What cycle we are at. And typically the problem is the best time to get out is the best time to be in. Those always coincide.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so it's very hard for us to be like when you were growing, you weren't ever thinking about selling out that group. You were like, no, this is great. I'm cranking. I'm selling cars. I'm making money.
And
we're growing.
There's guys that have been around for a long time, and I mean, they're printing money. We know a few. And,
Oh, man.
And I mean, from their reinsurance to their profitability to what they're able to just push towards real estate, all of that stuff. And I've asked this particular person. I said, I asked him 3 years ago, I asked him a year ago, and I always ask him the question, "Hey, would you ever sell?" And his answer is no. And I get it when you've got it, just almost automated. It's not, but when you've got it rolling smoothly and you're bringing in $500,000 in reinsurance
and CPI a month.
Yeah, just in reinsurance. Why would you want to fold it, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
And so there's got to be some crazy offer that just makes you say no. But there's
life
some,
change.
There's something or life change. There's something to say that when you do get this model honed in and it's steamrolling, there is some good reward to this model that makes people not walk away ever.
Do you think there are more success stories than failures?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely.
That's
not.
interesting. How interesting to think that the mortality rate in a buy here, pay here operation
Mortality.
Yeah.
is higher than 50%.
Yeah.
I bet it's 70%.
Really?
Oh, man, yeah.
You think you are the exception to the rule?
Everybody sitting in this office right now is the exception to the rule.
We are fighting the odds right now.
Oh, yeah.
And is it a matter of time before the big enough wave comes in that knocks us out?
No,
or
because I think we're all deleveraged enough that,
Yeah.
that it doesn't
we
matter.
could weather
That's
the
right.
storm,
It's
even if
all
I walk
about
away with
leverage.
zero.
It's all about leverage.
Yeah, and personal choice. I mean, if we decide to get out of business because we decided
Yeah,
to get out of
that's
business, not because the business forced us out.
The house
I
always
was
wins.
I was so mad at my dad when he was like, it's time. You don't need to buy it from me. Let's just.
I remember.
Let's just. I was
Yeah.
pissed. I was
Yeah.
mad. Looking back,
You're like, take my offer. Let's go. I'm still good.
yeah. Looking back, he may have just done me a real favor.
Good, you need to call your dad today and tell him you love him. Yeah. Guys, well, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
I'm ready for some South Dallas tacos.
Let's go.